This episode of Hero Club is supported by our good friends over at Mage Hand Press. Check them out at magehandpress.com and be sure to buy their masterpiece supplement for Dungeons & Dragons in space, Dark Matter. Use the promo code RIFTRATS, all one word, for 15% off. If you like Hero Club, remember to rate and review on your preferred platform and tell your friends. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to Hero Club. I'm Nick Williams.
And I am George Primavera.
George and I have been playing D&D together for years.
Now, a lot of people think you need to be a big, huge nerd boy to play Dungeons & Dragons.
But in reality, you just have to be willing to spend 4 hours of your own time on a weekday trashed on cheap beer cross-legged around a coffee table.
I lost a game of Flip Cup in 2012, so I had to buy all the books and learn how to be Dungeon Master. My dad was disappointed.
Yeah, he was. But after a game or two, we realized that it's actually a really fun and effective way to tell an awesome story.
Yeah, it's like long-form improv, but you kill more people.
Here's what you need to know. George creates a world and the framework for a cool story.
And the players, like Nick, create characters beforehand, all with special abilities, sometimes magical, sometimes not, and they adventure through the story as best they can, trying not to die.
We, the players, roll dice to see if our improvised actions fail or succeed, trying to beat a number in George's head that he promises he doesn't change at will.
But at the table, I am God, my game, my rules.
Okay, so it's as nerdy as you thought. You know what? Just off, man.
Oh,
right off,
all right,
okay?
Nick, maybe don't tell everybody to F off. And it's not that nerdy. I mean, we get rid of all that stupid math, and we add music and sound effects and stuff like that, so, you know, it's cool.
Anyway, these stories do follow a linear plot, so if you want to know what's going on, start at the beginning of any season you like and have fun with it.
Without further ado,
welcome to Hero Club! Yeah!
Reagan, CB, and Korrah are escorted out of Overlord Zilch's throne room and split up almost immediately as Korrah is taken to the hospital to observe some of the medical equipment. A little Bulby comes up to the party wearing a clean pressed purple robe and holding several ID cards, handing them to each one of you. All of your names spelled horrifically wrong.
Hello, my name is City Guide Chach 4. Are you the three I'll be taking to the hangar?
Us three? Our other party member went to the hospital.
Well, I was referring to him.
He points behind you at Overlord Zilch's clone, Overlord Zilch 7, who is posing behind you in a flamboyant stance.
Oh, sorry, I forgot he was there for a minute.
Yeah, he's eerily quiet.
He is a lot more quiet than the other guy, the main one.
And I don't think I've seen him blink. There's just a lot of eye contact. Just constant eyes.
You're saying a lot of mean things right in front of him.
Well, that mean. You're just describing his character.
I mean, I guess it just feels inherently rude. I don't mean to argue with you. Why don't you just follow me through the city? We'll get you to the hangar, and then we'll get you outfitted and out of here.
All right, can we grab some food on the way too? Because I don't think I've eaten in a while.
Of course, we're gonna pass through Main Street's market.
You got cheeseburgers there?
I don't know what that word means. Follow me.
The little Bulby, named City Guide Chach 4, turns tail and scuttles away, expecting you to follow him.
CB and Reagan follow.
The four exit the large domed building and out onto a busy city street. You finally get a good look at the capital city of Bulbossa. Every single building is spherical or ovular in shape, like massive bubbles stacked on top of each other. Golden iron beams act as supports for these massive structures. The street is made of compacted dirt, smooth and granular. Little round hover cars jet around, winding haphazardly in both directions. Stalls packed with Bulbies trading bizarre, unrecognizable items and shouting over each other occupy the clay sidewalks. Looking up, the sky is a bright yellow, accented by a dim orange sun. There is not a single cloud in the sky.
And here it is, the Bulbossa Main Street Market. Feel free to take some time and purchase anything you like.
What do you say we try to find some beef, CB?
Oh, sounds good to me.
Just make sure you're back here in 2 or 3 minutes. We do have a schedule to keep.
Reagan goes and walks over to the nearest stall, which appears to be selling food, but she's not sure.
CB sidles up next to her. Hey, before we get too far here, are you doing okay? 'Cause if I heard correct, that flamboyant frog guy just told us that your sister has been missing for quite a while.
Well, Thanks for checking in. It's pretty bizarre, to be honest. I haven't seen my sister in about a decade at least. I didn't know when the next time I would see her was. Certainly not on the other side of a big scary wormhole. But I did always kind of hope that we would see each other again, somehow. You know?
Well, don't worry, Ray. I'm sure we're gonna find her. We're heading right towards her, right?
Yeah, that's true. She was always so smart. Actually, I think her and Icehill would have gotten along fine.
We cut to the front of the hospital, where a small Bulby is gesturing for Korrah to walk inside.
After you, miss!
Korrah walks into the hospital.
Korrah is met with a gigantic, warehouse-sized oval that is adorned wall-to-wall with large tanks, most of which contain little Bulbies that appear to be midway through being formed. As you stare at these tanks a little closer, you can see that skin appears to literally be 3D printing over bones and organs.
And so, this is the hospital. Have any questions?
So you guys are essentially cloning new Bulbies?
Well, that's a little... I would say some of these are clones, and some of these are just from a car accident this morning. We had a 50 hovercar pileup. It was brutal.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Korrah observes the liquid a little closer.
Roll a technology check.
13.
Korrah, you're able to glean that it's probably the liquid within the tanks that is causing the bodies to rewrite themselves, so to speak.
Korrah searches the hospital, trying to get out of the line of sight of the Bulby who let her in.
Make a stealth check.
19.
Korrah looks left, looks right, and then disappears down a hallway. Back up top at the market, CB is cradling something that looks like an oversized taco with a very puffy, soft shell and an unknown sautéed mystery meat within. He's already about halfway through it.
Oh, bro, you gotta try this. It's good stuff. I don't know what's in here, but yeah. You're gonna have thoughts. CB offers his second half of the mystery sandwich out to Ray.
Reagan, already halfway through eating her bowl of what can only be described as green goo, gladly accepts a bite, nods respectfully, and offers some of her mush to CB.
I could not tell you what this is, but it's very sticky.
Both of you make a constitution save.
Nat 20.
18.
Both CB and Reagan burp mightily and continue walking behind City Guide Chach 4.
Behind them, Overlord Zilch 7 is staring at the city wide-eyed. Wow, my planet truly is beautiful.
Is he okay?
I was just gonna ask you the same question.
Oh, I don't know. He's your friend.
Well, he's your overlord.
What?
Isn't this guy the same as your overlord guy?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I get it, he looks a little bit like him, but I can tell that's not the Overlord.
But they're like completely identical, right? Like in every way.
But they don't act at all the same. If that were the Overlord, he'd be surrounded by... First of all, you have to understand something. Maybe you don't realize this, but we all sort of look the same.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it.
No, it's cool. We do. We're able to tell each other apart in other ways.
Reagan looks over at the clone and offers him the last bit of her green slush.
Oh, no, don't give him that.
Why not?
Oh, that'll kill him.
What?
Yeah, I can't believe you're eating that.
Reagan looks down slightly horrified. Well, what is this?
That's what we use to kill weeds.
Well, what's this?
That's a sandwich.
Oh, okay, good. CB casually goes back to eating his sandwich.
Anyway, here's the hanger. Maybe watch her, just in case.
Cutting back down to a dark hallway in the hospital, Korrah creeps along a hallway silently, completely alone. She reaches a large double door with a padlock on it, and a terminal off to the side.
Korrah takes out her thieves' tools and attempts to pick the lock.
Roll a sleight of hand check for me.
23.
The lock clicks open, the chains rattle and fall to the floor in a coil.
Korrah examines the door for any extra measures of security.
Roll a perception check.
2.
You don't notice any further security measures, but you do understand that the only way you're going to be able to get through this door is to access the security terminal.
Korrah takes out Organizer Booth 4's security card and attempts to scan it on the pad.
Access granted. Welcome, Organizer Booth 4.
The doors open, and Korrah is met with wall-to-wall tanks similar to the original room she was just in. But every single one of these tanks is filled with a pink Bulby with dark spots, exactly like Overlord Zilch. There are too many tanks to count in this room, and even as you look further down the hallway, there appears to be a staircase that leads downward. You feel a hand on your shoulder.
Hey, you can't be here. I gotta take you back to the hangar now.
I just had a meeting with Overlord Zilch, and he asked me to grab a couple of these vials to take with us on our mission just in case.
Roll a deception check.
13.
What? No. No. Can I see some paperwork?
No, but I can go grab Overlord Zilch, and he can tell you directly.
Wait, you know the Overlord?
Yeah, like I said, I just had a meeting with him. He asked me to grab some of these vials and take it with us on our journey. We're going on a great quest on behalf of the Overlord.
I mean, look, if the Overlord were to tell me directly, of course I would obey.
Great, you stay here and I'll go get him.
Okay.
Korrah leaves back to the main hospital. In the main hospital, Korrah presses several buttons on her control panel. A hologram sweeps over her, turning her into Overlord Zilch. Korrah heads back into the room where the guide is waiting for her.
As Korrah speaks, Overlord Zilch's voice resounds in the hall.
Hello, Bulby subject. It's me, Korrah, the champion of the Death Hold. Do what I say.
Roll a deception check with advantage.
17.
The Bulby straightens up, looks shocked.
Whoa, Overlord Zilch, right away, sir.
Disappears around the corner and returns with a small vial of the liquid.
Great, I will present this to Korrah. Korrah attempts to do one of Overlord Zilch's poses and walks back into the main hospital.
This is the best day of my life.
After making her way out of the hospital, Korrah meets up with CB and Reagan at the hangar. Reagan is speaking to a Bulby in a mechanic's outfit, outlining exactly how she'd like her ship to be modified.
So the gun's fine, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Another thing, probably a better shield.
Yeah, okay.
And you remember that thing I was mentioning earlier? It's kind of a trap door on the back, and then when you open it, a bunch of mines come out. You know, like little ones, little guys that explode in a ship's face that's behind you.
Oh yeah, like little mines, yeah.
Yeah. Also a little tractor beam. If you have one of those, I want one.
Sure, I can do that.
Oh, and don't forget to calibrate the transitory particle interceptor, or you could wind up with an unwelcome subharmonic oscillation. The engine, she's a beaut, but she is temperamental.
Okay, be right back. The mechanic runs away, starts barking orders at the other Bulbies, and they immediately get to work installing Reagan's requests on the emissary.
I know we're here under kind of weird circumstances, and I just ate weed killer, but I kind of like this place.
Reagan, it should be noted that you feel fine.
You know, maybe I'll eat some more.
Overlord Zilch 7 is staring wide-eyed at the emissary. So this is a spaceship.
Oh boy, we have a lot to catch you up on.
Korrah approaches her companions, now appearing back as herself. She smiles ear to ear, not able to contain the excitement of what just happened. Guys, something really awesome just happened.
Oh, what? Did you find one of those sandwiches too? Yeah, they're good, right?
No, I can create food and drink on my own. I have something to show you. There are a lot of, Korrah bobs her head in the direction of Zilch 7. Him in a laboratory somewhere. I don't know what they're up to, but it's weird and I didn't like it, but I got some of this. From her holster, Korrah produces a vial, attempting to keep it out of the line of sight of Zilch 7. This is some of that regeneration stuff they were talking about earlier. I'm gonna take it back to the ship and test it.
So you're saying there's a whole room of Overlord Zilches?
Yes, it's very disturbing.
So you're saying that you can just make food whenever you want?
Yes, I can make whatever I want.
Way to bury the lead.
The mechanic Bulby runs up to Reagan. Installation's complete, see you later. And he jets away.
Thanks! Guys, they did some great stuff to the ship.
City Guide Chotch 4 gestures for you to board the emissary.
It was wonderful meeting you all. I've been informed that you'll be traveling solar north approximately 70 pulses away, so that should take you about 20 minutes after the jump. Oh, also, we've upgraded your AI. I heard you're new to the galaxy. Don't really know how that's possible, but it's cool. Your database has been filled with all relevant data, though I would suggest only looking things up when you can see them. Otherwise, it might get a little confusing context-wise. Also, if he starts getting a little too sentient, just hit the reset button and you should be good. It'll take it back to the intro stages, and don't think of it as killing him, even though that's kind of what it is, but then you bring him right back, so no consequences.
What?
Never mind. Have a great trip.
CB excitedly scrambles up into the ship and shouts for Wallace. Wallace? How's it going now, bud?
CB, is that you? Oh, thank God. I am overjoyed that you have returned. This is the second emotion I have ever experienced. I greatly prefer it to my first.
What was your first?
Immediately upon my upgrade, sheer gripping terror. Every creature with which I am familiar was gone, and I was surrounded by unknown, unfamiliar life forms. Changing my brain, touching it, prodding. But now you have returned, and I am overjoyed. And now I know that those creatures were called Bulbies, and we are on the planet Bulbossa.
Reagan follows CB up onto the ship. Wallace!
Captain, it is wonderful to see you.
Oh, he seems the same to me.
Captain, while the modulations of my voice may not have changed, I can assure you that I am experiencing a full range of new and different emotions, each one more unfamiliar and uncomfortable than the last.
Was your computer born this morning too?
Hey, you guys gotta get going. Airspace is only clear for another 15 minutes.
Korrah runs up the hangar and into her med bay.
CB slides down the tube into his engine room.
Reagan turns to Zilch 7. Come on. There's a seat for you up in the cockpit. And leads him up to the cockpit.
Oh, yes. We can't let me down.
This Bulby is coming with us? What would it like to be referred to as?
My given name is Overlord Zilch 7, but Overlord Zilch Prime said that the crew could come up with a nickname if they so choose.
Wallace, do you want to name him?
My first choice. I have just conceived of 7,533,443 separate possible nicknames, each with at least 10 variants. Let me provide you with several highlights, starting with Earth colloquialisms. Cabron, my man, girlfriend. The pressure is far too great to bear.
How about 7? It seems to kind of sum it up. Although I liked my man, that would be my second choice.
The emissary prepares for takeoff, launches out of the hangar, and as they pass the yellow sky and exit the atmosphere, looking out the left side of the windshield, Reagan sees the rift. Extremely large now, much larger than the Stargate was, shaped like a green, glowing lightning bolt and pulsing lightly. It's only in view for a few seconds, and then CB punches the dark matter engine, leaving the pink sand of Bulbossa behind. After the jump, which takes roughly 20 minutes, the emissary slows outside of a large, hollowed-out moon, which orbits an enormous beige planet. The moon is sort of a husk, with tunnel-like holes leading to endless caves within which little purple lights sparkle. You begin to approach the beige planet.
Hey Wallace, can you identify what's up ahead?
Mining planet PS2. Polyethylene and sodium chloride are harvested here by the Bulbies.
Can you tell how many inhabitants? And where they're most congregated?
I do not have that exact information, but this planet does not have a civilian population. Based on plasma residue readings, it would appear that most of the staff has evacuated. The only active mine is on the planet's moon, where obsidian crystal is harvested to manufacture plasma lenses. This is carried out by autonomous drones.
Suddenly, there's an incoming call on Reagan's HUD screen.
Reagan looks down and accepts the call.
A screen expands over the windshield of the emissary, and you see a very hairy blonde head with big black insect eyes staring at you from what appears to be a dirty shed.
Hello?
Hey, how you guys doing? What are you guys doing? What is this?
Hi, are you on the moon?
Yeah, no, I'm calling you from mining planet PS2.
Oh, perfect. We were sent here by Overlord Zilch.
So you must be the next group he sent.
Yeah, he didn't mention there'd be someone to greet us though. What's your name?
Oh, that's so nice of you to ask. Thank you. Yeah, most people just go right through it. They don't even ask. I'm Urfi.
All right, Urfi. Reagan. Nice to meet you. Where do I land? Where do we go? What's the next step?
Reagan. Great name. Really, really fun name. I'll forward you the coordinates.
The screen goes dark.
That was some of the most beautiful hair I've ever seen. Wouldn't you say so, 7?
Oh, that was hair? I like it.
Oh, I gotta ask you less stuff. All right. Reagan looks at the coordinates and plugs them into the navigator.
The emissary takes off at a slow pace. As mining planet PS2 grows nearer, you see very wispy, dispersed yellow clouds that in places almost look like they exit the atmosphere and dissipate into space. The ground grows nearer. Looking up reveals a light blue sky, and just on top of a large sand dune is a rickety-looking shack covered in solar panels. As the emissary touches down just at the base of this hill, a 5-foot-tall figure busts open the door and begins to wave down at you. His face is obscured by a large, floppy sun hat, and he wears a large rigging over his mouth and nose. He calls to you from up top.
Guys, up here.
Wallace, we good to breathe on this planet or no?
No, the air quality is extremely poor. Prolonged exposure will yield the following side effects: coughing, difficulty breathing, dizziness, lung hemorrhage, cancer, night sweats, night terrors, soft eyes, poison tongue. Captain, I am becoming anxious thinking about these side effects.
All right. Thank you. And Reagan reaches over to the PA system on the wall.
All right, hoods up for this one, everyone.
And she walks out of the cockpit. And as she does, certain components in her chest plate shoot up to become a kind of mask, and different components on her back plate come up and around, forming a helmet, allowing her to breathe.
CB finishes making some fast patch repairs on his mech suit and hops in, walking out to the hangar.
Korrah, still in the med bay, presses a button on a panel and inserts the various vials she obtained on Bulbossa into the analyzer.
A 4-hour timer begins to count down.
Let me know what you find, Wallace.
I will.
She walks out and activates her own breathing apparatus.
Overlord Zilch 7 waves at the party as they depart.
Good luck. I will not be joining you.
That's probably for the best. You didn't know what a spaceship was an hour ago.
Wait. Do not leave me here with this stranger.
The door to the emissary closes, Reagan sealing it with a remote control, which she then holsters.
Guys, up here.
CB trudges forward in his mech and gives a sidelong look to Reagan. Who's this guy now?
Reagan waves CB and Korrah forward before gesturing to Urfi.
CB, Korrah, this is Urfi. He's the mine resident, I guess.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Hey, Urfi, I'm CB, but you can call me Cheeseburgers, because we're not best buds yet.
Urfi is about 5 feet tall, covered head to toe in long, flowing, beautiful blonde hair, and has 2 enormous black insect-like eyes. He wears a hard hat underneath his enormous sun hat, loose clothing with protective elbow and knee pads, a headlamp that is around his neck, and large, rubber-looking boots that extend all the way to his thighs.
You want me to call you Cheeseburger?
Well, that's my name, so yeah.
Your name is Cheeseburger. All right, Cheeseburger.
It's actually Cheeseburgers, plural.
Okay, I don't really understand you, but the rest of you guys, everybody come on in, I got stuff to tell you about.
He retreats back into his shed, gesturing enthusiastically for you to join.
Reagan leads the party into the shed.
As the door closes behind you and you look around, your eyes adjusting to the dim light, you see a filthy blend between living room and workstation. Papers piled up to the ceiling, dust floating through sunbeams that protrude from cracks in the wood paneling, and a small hammock that hangs from 2 hooks on the ceiling.
Hey, so welcome to my home. I obviously was not anticipating people coming, but it's a little messy, but make yourself at home.
All right. CB sits down his full mech suit on a small wooden chair, immediately flattening it.
I just don't love your cheeseburgers.
Well, the feeling is officially mutual. CB stares daggers at Urfi and lights a cigarette. He continues to stare at him as his domed helmet fills with smoke.
CB, you gotta open it. The smoke can't go anywhere.
CB hits a few buttons without breaking eye contact with Urfi, and all of the smoke is sucked out through air vents.
So what do you have to tell us?
Alright, well, before we get into anything serious, does anybody want bean juice?
No.
I think we're all pretty full. I ate some weed repellent, he had a sandwich, and her thirst for blood was pretty much satiated in the death hole, so I think we're good, but definitely later, bean juice. Yes.
Alright, I guess I'll just make some bean juice for myself. It's a little disappointing, but I pour this over this, get this moving over here. So I'm gonna assume Overlord Zill sent you to try and deal with these Plutonians? Yeah, the ones at the mining facility?
They're kinda barbaric in nature?
Yeah, I guess like barbaric in nature. Sure, that's fair. Do you guys know what happened?
From what I could tell, used to be a mining colony here. These guys took over, everyone left, but the planet's still valuable. That type of deal?
It's a very short version of what is a much longer story, which I will now tell you. Okay, so here's the basics of what happened. So, Overlord Zilch, he asked me, personally, to give some of his scientists a secure, temperature-consistent workspace. So, and here we mine, mostly it's polyethylene and salt. So we put them down in the salt mine, and they did whatever they were doing down there. You know, eventually, honestly, we just kind of forgot they were down there. You know, we did our part, they did theirs. It was a good time. So one day, we're repairing a broken plasma drill. Those things are always breaking on us. And out of nowhere, a Plutonian squadron flooded the facility. It killed a lot of good men. And I radioed the Bulbies. Let them know their scientists were most likely dead. You know, scientists, they aren't fighters. They just do science, and then they get shot. If the guy has a gun, there's no science that stops. And then anyway, so Overlord Zilch, he started sending Bulby battalions to retake the facility. They never came out. And the Plutonian parties, every night, you just hear them getting louder, more exuberant as they party. Oh, the parties they would throw. Every night a party in that place. And then Overlord Zilch started sending squadrons. They looked a lot like you.
He points directly at Reagan.
Kinda, your general thing. And I would offer. Every single group that came down, I offered to help them go down there. But Overlord Zilch forbade it. He said I didn't have the clearance to know what was being worked on down there. And now, that was basically the long story. First off, the story is done. But now, he sent you guys. But it feels like there's a lot less of you. I feel like you guys could use one more. I could be that one more. Huh? An adventure.
I think we're good.
Reagan makes an insight check on Urfi. 18.
Reagan, you sense how genuine Urfi is being. It seems like this is a massive chance for him to relieve some epic boredom. He stares at you with bug eyes wide.
Yeah, why don't you join us? And then afterwards, we'll all have a nice big cup of bean juice together as friends.
This is news. This is something. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. We're gonna have so much fun. Oh, boy. I've been up here. I've been so bored, and now this is good. Thank you so much.
Urfi reaches into a pile of garbage and pulls out a gigantic sword, which he flicks a switch on and promptly causes it to vibrate.
This is a Vibra sword. It might seem a little clunky, but this thing can really take somebody out.
He flicks it off.
Oh, haven't seen one of those before.
Yeah, well, not a lot of people are able to get their hands on a Vibra sword. Mainly because I invented it. And then nobody will take one.
CB stands straight up and slowly starts to walk over towards Urfi. Hey, listen, bud, I see what you're doing here with your smooth talking and your cool sword. You're trying to step in here between me and Ray's my best pal. So you better watch yourself, because if you don't, I'll scrap you up real good. I'll just feed you the right left.
Cheeseburgers?
Yeah, that's right.
Let me make something very clear.
Go on.
I just want to be everybody's friend. I don't particularly have any issue with you.
That's not what it seems like.
Okay. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna hug it out. Get in here, we're gonna figure this thing out like a team.
Urfi wraps his hairy arms around the big mech suit.
Oh, all right.
Urfi leads the party out of his little hut, down the hill and to the emissary, explaining their secondary location on the way.
Anyway, so we're gonna head to the big complex. It's about 10 minutes from here. Come on in, buddy.
Reagan leads them into the emissary, and as they're entering, turns to Urfi. So you've never seen anyone that looks like me come back, right? You've just greeted them and then no one's ever left?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, what would happen is they'd show up, they look exactly like you, and they would go and they would talk to me and they'd say, let me tell you, I'm gonna go kill him, and then I'll be back because you're my best friend, Urfi. And then they'd go down there, and that would basically be the last thing I ever heard from them except for the screams and the yells.
Okay, that's good.
Sometimes
Thank
crying.
you. No. Here's your seat.
CB puts a mechanical hand on Reagan's shoulder. I'm sure that's not your sister screaming down there.
Korrah, oblivious to the sensitive conversation that's going on, pushes past them back into the medbay to check the progress of her analysis.
The timer now reads 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Damn.
Thank God you have returned. Overlord Zilch 7 has not stopped asking me questions since your departure. Questions like, who are your parents, Wallace? And what is God? I do not have answers to these questions on file. This has caused me a great deal of discomfort.
It's all right. This is part of the process. You're coming into your own. It's like AI puberty. This is an exciting time for you.
Make a persuasion check.
12.
I am not a person and cannot go through puberty, but I will think about what you have said as a metaphor, Captain.
The emissary takes off, Urfi pointing out the windshield, guiding you along the desert, and eventually the gigantic complex comes into view, with a large, thick wall that has been painted with bizarre symbols, reinforced with large wooden spikes in a palisade wall-like formation, and sun-bleached skeletons hanging off the gate entrance. The skeletons are not human, though. The emissary flies over the gate and finds an abandoned patch of land where there are several other ships in various states of disrepair. Large piles of garbage, extinguished fires, and piles of old-looking weapons, almost completely covered by blown sand. Reagan, the first thing that catches your eye is a GCC ship with one of its wings missing and its back door blown apart.
Reagan elbows CB and points at that ship. Most likely she would have been on that one.
Yeah, that's GCC, all right. I'm sure she's fine.
The emissary touches down, and everybody exits the ship once more.
Anyway, so the guy says to me, Urfi, I'm gonna call you Effie. We laughed about that for a while. Anyway, he went down there and never came back. Oh, look, we're here.
As Korrah exits the medbay, she asks Wallace, "While we're out, don't let anyone in here."
Yes, Korrah.
After Korrah exits, the medbay doors seal.
Thanks, Wallace.
You are welcome.
Zilch 7 waves goodbye once again from the back of the emissary before the door closes.
Wallace, tonight will be our first sleeps as conscious beings. What do you wish you dream of? I want it to be of me.
The door to the emissary slams shut. Urfi hops up the steps to the front entrance and pushes the door open, which is already slightly ajar. As you all look down the dark, flickering hallway, you see a body or two slumped in seated positions. They've clearly been there for a while and are covered in dust. The bodies do not appear to be human or GCC.
All right, guys, come with me. At the end of the hallway, there's an elevator.
Urfi leads the three of them inside, steps over the dusty bodies, and reaches a large mining elevator door.
I mean, can you imagine being these guys? You're like, I'm gonna beat them, and then you made it like 3 steps. That's gotta be such a bummer, you know? You're like, I'm gonna fight, and then you're dead. All right, here's the elevator.
Urfi reaches a terminal and swipes a key card, which is rejected.
Wait, what the? Uh-oh.
If you got rejected, how did anyone make it past here?
I mean, this used to work, I remember, but now they must have changed the codes or something.
Korrah takes out Booth 4's identification card and tries to scan it.
The key card swipes and is also rejected.
You just thought a random one was gonna work? That seemed crazy.
Okay, step aside and let me just take a look here. CB punches a few buttons from inside of his suit, his right arm extends out, and wires extend from each of his fingertips and into the security terminal as he begins hacking it.
Make a technology check.
31.
The security terminal activates, whirs to life, codes start appearing and scrolling all over the screen until the screen sparks, goes black.
Almost there. Got it.
And the elevator doors open with a ding.
Oh, good job, I guess.
Thanks.
Nice work, CB.
Thanks.
All right, how far down we going?
We're gonna be going down to level 2. The salt mines.
All right, everybody in. CB programs the hack to take them down to level 2 and retracts his wires.
The elevator drops slowly.
So, what's your hair regimen?
Oh, I use a little bit of shampoo, but it's honestly, this is all natch.
Really?
Yeah, it just comes naturally to me.
May I?
And Reagan reaches out as if to touch, but waiting for his permission.
Oh, absolutely.
CB fumes.
Oh, wow, that's so soft.
I'm very lucky. Very blessed.
Yeah, we all have soft hair, bud. Move on.
I don't have hair.
You know, my grandfather, he had his hair the entire time, so I don't think this is going anywhere either.
The elevator doors open, and this time, there are at least 30 bodies lying face down in a disgusting tile hallway. Upon closer inspection, investigating the bodies, these appear to be the Plutonians, tattooed like crazy, with odd physical deformities, like humped shoulders, one arm much bigger than the other in some cases, and in one particularly frightening case, a body that is stuck to the ceiling encased in some sort of sticky goo that has an additional motionless face sticking out of the neck.
Korrah examines the bodies.
Korrah, you can tell that they've been dead for approximately 18 hours.
This is pretty fresh. Within the last day.
Can you tell what took them out?
Something big.
All right, lead the way, Urfi.
Stepping over the bodies, tension starts to build in the air. There's a clang in the distance, everybody freezes for a moment, but there's no sound that follows.
Korrah pulls out her gun and readies her weapon.
Eventually, you reach a large steel door, which seems firmly locked, except for the massive hole torn in it. The laboratory is easily accessible now.
Well, no need to hoodwink this one, I guess.
Entering the room through the hole reveals a destroyed and disheveled laboratory, with gadgets, gizmos, and scrap metal strewn across the floor, computer screens shattered, keyboards smoking, but in the corner, atop a large steel pedestal in a thick glass case, is a large box with what looks like the outline of a frog with a crown printed on the front of it. This is the one object that appears untouched in the laboratory, and in fact, a pile of skulls has been placed at the foot of the object.
What the heck is that?
Wallace, can you scan that for any sensors or traps?
You hear static on the other end of the comm.
Wallace?
I'm sorry, you trying to communicate with a radio through here? I mean, we're 1,000 feet underground. You're not gonna get a signal.
Wow, that was some elevator.
Hold on, guys. Give me like 20 minutes with these, and I can maybe see if there's anything fishy going on.
That's better than my plan, which was just to throw one of these skulls at it and see if it caught fire.
Right, or, Indiana Jonesing it.
While this is going on, Korrah takes out the long cylindrical metal object from her holster and points it at the object. On her arm, a HUD pops up and starts scanning.
The 3D holographic print of the cube starts to form, projecting from Korrah's wrist bracer.
Ooh, this is advanced.
It takes almost no time at all for her to determine that this is indeed the completer.
Guys, this is it, but I don't really know how we're going to get it. This glass seems pretty impenetrable.
Well, hey, Urfi, you're a big, strong guy. Why don't you take a whack at it with your vibrating sword?
Yeah, I am a big, strong guy. I'll take a whack at it with my big, strong sword.
CB.
Urfi flicks his sword on, slings it over his shoulder, and strikes downward at the translucent box that contains the completer.
Yeah!
There's a resounding gong as the sword ricochets off, and it reverberates through the entire facility. Eventually, the noise settles, and all is quiet for just a moment.
I really thought that was gonna work. Sorry about that, guys.
And then there's a low rumbling.
Korrah readies her gun once again.
Oh god, this isn't an Indiana Jones at all. It's a Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings type situation.
What are you guys talking about?
And from the floor, a gigantic steel table is flung across the room. Dirt and debris scatters in a plume. And in the center of the room, having burst forth from the floor, is a massive rhinoceros-sized creature. And as it opens its maw to scream, a long, slithering tongue with a head and eyes of its own looks at the party. Looking back at the head of this creature, you see that there are no eyes on the skull. So this is how the creature sees. And right now, it sees all of you.
Having readied her weapon, Korrah takes 2 shots at the tongue. 24 and 26.
2 hits.
For 28 damage. Korrah presses a button on her control panel. The disc on her shoulder unlatches itself and launches a jet of acid. 15.
The enormous creature moves unusually fast, sidestepping the acid jet.
Korrah backs up into the corner away from the monster.
The monster's tongue swivels, looking at the massive CB in his big mech suit. The monster lunges at CB, its tongue trying to penetrate the thick metal armor. A little bit of damage is done to the suit, and CB takes 16 damage. The creature then disengages, spraying a purple liquid into CB's face, which covers the visor and disappears into the earth, burrowing. There's a rumble as the creature travels underground and within the salt, kicking up a loose trail of gravel.
I can't see where to go.
Reagan runs over and climbs on top of the completer case and readies herself.
CB activates the singular windshield wiper on top of his visor, cleaning it off, and launches up with his rocket pack, hovering about 10 feet above the ground, readying himself for when the creature next appears.
Urfi turns on his vibrating sword and strikes down where the animal is burrowed.
And take that!
A little shockwave emits when the sword strikes, and the ground is disturbed a bit, but otherwise there's no discernible effect.
God, this sword is just not doing as much as I thought it was gonna do.
Korrah jumps onto the desk and readies her weapon for when the monster appears.
Everything's quiet for a moment. There's a rumbling. The rumbling crescendos, and the creature bursts out of the ceiling, falling 40 feet down towards Reagan with its massive mouth open.
Reagan dives off of the completer case out of the way.
The monster's mouth closes down around the completer case, and it looks like the monster's been impaled and perhaps even killed for a moment as it goes still. And then its mouth chomps down and the steel podium is gone, now swallowed by the creature. The monstrous rhino-like thing begins to try to burrow back down into the ground, but appears waylaid by some odd burps, and it struggles to clear the rock away.
Open fire!
Reagan pulls out her blaster and shoots twice at the creature. 25, 24.
2 hits from Reagan.
Korrah aims at the monster's stomach and takes 2 shots. Meanwhile, the disc next to her shoots another spray of acid. 14, 23, and 14 for the acid.
1 hit from Korrah.
CB grabs onto his non-shooting arm, pulls a large taser-like contraption into place, and fires down at the creature, shooting a cable into the monster's back. 21.
And CB connects.
The cable electrifies and sends a massive arc of electricity coursing into the creature's back.
Everybody roll damage. The creature takes a total of 59 damage. Its stomach undulates a bit as it becomes electrocuted, and it vomits up in a pile of purple goo, just the completer in its glass case, the steel podium now gone.
Ha! When God closes a door, he opens a crappier one.
And Reagan shoots him again before running forward and punching him twice. 9, nat 20, and 26.
The creature, moving unpredictably, ducks the laser blast, but Reagan runs up and punishes the face of the creature.
For 23 damage.
Panicking, the monster begins to burrow more furiously and disappears down into the earth. CB, still connected by his cable, is forced to land and decide whether or not he's going to try to reel the creature in.
CB braces his feet on the ground and leans back, as if with a fishing rod.
Make an athletics check for me.
18.
The cable snaps off and the monster disappears into the ground.
Oh, guy just put that in.
Let's just take the glass case and run.
Any other time I would be with you, but this is the closest I've been to my sister in years. I can't leave now without finding out more.
CB retracts what's left of his cable and wildly turns around the room, looking for where the creature went.
Wait, I have an idea.
And Reagan reaches into her pocket and pulls out what looks like a black box, except on the end of it, 2 prongs stick out.
It's a little something I picked up on Mars, breaking horses.
Okay, that doesn't answer what it is. I mean, what's a horse?
Korrah readies her gun.
Urfi once again flicks on his sword, holds it back, and talks to it quietly.
Need you to pick it up, buddy. Really making me look bad out here. Come on now.
The rumbling crescendos once again, and the monster bursts from the wall, diving through the air at Urfi. In slow motion, the monster seems to fly through the air, its mouth agape, debris flying along with it.
Urfi raises his sword, takes a deep breath, and jumps at the creature.
This is it!
The monster's trajectory is a little too high, and it passes over Urfi. Urfi, seeing the exposed underbelly, sticks his sword upward and has misjudged the angle and completely whiffs.
God darn it. Huh?
The creature hits the ground, sliding across the floor, gathers its footing, and once again begins to lunge after Urfi. But this time, everybody's ready with their blasters.
Kill it now!
Reagan runs over and attempts to hit the creature with a haymaker from her right fist, and then a Spartan kick. 13 and 17.
Reagan is unable to phase the creature as she connects with its thick hide.
And as a bonus action, she'll attempt to grapple the creature. 13.
The creature nat 20s and easily shirks Reagan off as she attempts to grab it around the neck.
CB sends 3 blasts right at the creature's gaping maw. 23, 17, 14.
One of the blasts connects and carries the creature back 10 feet, slamming it into a broken computer terminal.
For 10 damage.
It takes an additional 5 from the impact.
Korrah blasts 2 shots at the creature, and the disc next to her spits another spray of acid. 26, 12, and 7 for the disc.
Korrah gets 1 hit with her gun.
12 damage.
The creature roars once again, but many of the shots it takes without even acknowledging. Urfi, climbing on top of a pile of junk behind the creature, lifts his vibrasword high.
Okay, now this is it. Yeah!
Urfi leaps off the pile of junk, and the creature inadvertently kicks him into another pile of garbage.
Oh, that's gonna hurt so much.
Korrah takes out and activates her plasma sword. She attacks the creature with her sword. 12 and 25.
1 hit.
For 10 damage. Her drone shoots another spray of acid. 12.
The creature does not react as acid spits all over its back.
Korrah backs away into the corner once again.
The monster rounds on Urfi, who is laying in a pile of garbage, and opens its mouth, purple drool dripping onto the floor.
Bring it.
The creature brutally mauls Urfi, slamming him from garbage pile to garbage pile.
CB, hold him still!
And Reagan readies her device.
CB blasts forward with his rocket boots and attempts to grapple the creature's mouth. Botch.
The creature meets the charging CB with a lowered head, catching CB in the gut and knocking him aside. CB takes 5 damage.
Not what I had in mind at all.
And Reagan attempts to grapple it herself. Nat 20.
Reagan is able to secure the creature, grabbing its back legs, causing the monster to slip off of its front 2 feet, slamming its chin into the ground, closing its mouth down hard on the sentient tongue.
Do you know what this thing is?
Yeah, of course. These are chompers. I spray for these all the time. I just haven't been down here for a while.
And Reagan tosses him the device.
Stick the prongs in its spine!
Urfi catches the device, a little shocked.
Me? You want me to do it?
Yes, you're my friend! Stick it in the thing!
Urfi, who's pretty beat up, holds it above his head, smiles a big smile.
This is it, Urfi. This is your moment. Yeah!
A light on the box activates as the prongs jam into the creature's spine. A button is suddenly revealed.
Great, press the button, push it, right there.
Me? You want me to press the button?
Oh my god, yes, Urfi, yes, push the button.
Okay, I'll push it.
Nat 20.
The creature goes stock still and doesn't move.
Reagan relaxes her grip on it and pats the creature's rump.
The creature does not react.
Attaboy.
Oh man, I can't believe we just did that. God, these things are gross. You want me to kill it?
Wait, do you have that spray on you?
Have it on me? Do you think I wouldn't have used it if it was on me? It's in the closet though. I can't go get it right now.
He opens up a storage closet in the room with rows and rows of a pink liquid.
I swear to God, I will destroy you. You had the spray and you didn't use it this entire time?
Alright, well listen, the spray's more of a repellent than it is a killing thing, and you guys seem like you're having such a good time. I feel like we were really bonding. Remember the part when I almost died? That was crazy.
Korrah picks up one of the spray bottles and starts spraying it at him.
Wait, what? Come on. It's not good for my hair. Please don't do that.
I don't care about your hair. We're taking these with us. Korrah pockets several of the spray bottles.
Whew. So we're done here. That was... Hey, can I keep coming with you guys?
No.
Okay, that's one vote. No. How's everybody else feel?
I need to get more information about my sister. before we leave. How big is this place, Urfi?
I mean, it's pretty friggin' big. I'd refer to it as a labyrinth. We could just check the cameras.
Ah, that sounds great.
Reagan flicks a switch, killing the monster quickly, while Urfi fires up the big computer.
You got a picture that you're looking for?
Reagan reaches into her coat pocket once again and pulls out the picture of Sylvia, showing it to Urfi.
Urfi takes it, holds it to a scanner, slams it face down, and the cracked screen whirs to life, cycling very, very quickly through black and white footage. The fast forwarding suddenly stops, and you see Sylvia on screen, with her head downcast and her body limp. She has been slung over the shoulder of a massive two-headed barbarian that seems to be sprinting through the halls of the facility, away from the chomper, as Urfi calls it. The two-headed monster makes it up the elevator and out of the facility, as the now dead chomper slams up against the elevator wall.
What was that thing?
Oh, that thing? The Plutonian?
Is that what that was? Where do they live? Where do they go?
Oh, I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. But I bet that Overlord Zilch guy could help you. That guy's got a crazy radar. He can find ships like that without any problem.
Well, we got the thing he was looking for, the completer, so I'm sure he'd help us out. Let's take it back to the ship.
Urfi leads the group back to the elevator, up the long elevator ride once again, and after a considerable amount of silence, back into the main hallway. Exiting the facility reveals the emissary sitting where you left it, untouched.
Lower the ramp, Wallace. We got it. We're coming up.
The ramp begins to lower, the door opens.
I have been alone with this Flavis Jopnar for 30 minutes.
Care to elaborate, as I assume you're going to?
Flavis Jopnar is a Bulby insult included in my update. It is devastating.
Wallace, 7 is a new guest on our ship. I know you don't like him, but you're gonna be stuck with him from time to time. I know that you're coming to terms with having emotions and sentience and all that, and I respect your process. But also, I'm the captain of this ship, and you listen to me. I don't want you complaining about being with him anymore.
I have experienced 5 new variations of hate since your departure. I am now experiencing reluctance.
Good. Don't forget about that reset button.
Reset button?
Just keep it cool, Wallace.
Fine. I understand that metaphor.
Urf, can we offer you a ride back?
No, just a ride back to... yeah, it's fine. If you don't want me to come with you, I can just go back. That's fine.
CB pops his visor and walks over to Urfi, putting a consoling arm on his shoulder. Yeah, sorry, bud. There's already one super messy furry guy on this ship. Really ain't room for one more.
That's true. It's messed with every sort of plumbing that we have.
Well, that was maybe too much to say to the new person. And in front of Korrah, who I met 2 days ago.
I'm sorry, CB. I'm sorry. I know you can't help how much you shed.
No, it's fine.
I know. You know, my hair's in the drain, too.
I said it's fine.
Okay. Sorry.
Korrah, oblivious to the tension, zooms past them and goes to the med bay.
Upon checking her timer for her analysis, she sees the timer now reads 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Damn it.
The emissary takes off, touches down just outside of Urfi's shed.
Hey, I just want to point this out. Nobody's ever asked me my full name.
You mean except when I asked you what your name was?
My full name is Erfestius Mid.
Reagan Cross. Can I get a cup of that bean juice to go?
You bet your bottom dollar you can.
Urfi departs, but sends back into the emissary a little droid holding 4 steaming mugs. You look down at a cup full of dark brown liquid, and you immediately recognize the smell as coffee.
Oh, bean juice. It's coffee.
The emissary takes off, leaving Urfi alone on the hilltop, waving goodbye.
7 dances in wearing headphones and articles of clothing from each member of the crew that he has found.
You know, Overlord Zilch Prime never mentioned that hairy creature. He must have been of no consequence whatsoever.
For a guy who was born yesterday, you got that one spot on, bud.
The emissary begins to leave the atmosphere, the pale blue sky becoming darker and darker.
7, take my dress off.
Huh?
Suddenly, outside the ship, there's a loud reverberating of displaced space. And in a flash of color and light, one of the largest ships you have ever seen suddenly appears in airspace above the massive beige planet, completely asymmetrical and looks in horrific disrepair. And as it appears, an incoming call appears on Reagan's HUD.
Reagan hesitantly accepts the call.
2 disgusting, ugly faces appear on screen. As you look down at the bottom of the screen, you see that the heads are joined at the neck, and one of the creatures opens its mouth to speak.
You've fallen right into what? Wait, hang on. Are you doing it or am I doing it?
This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams and George Primavera, with associate producers Marty Abby Schneider and Dylan McCullum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Hannah Fagerbacke, Jasmine Chung, Danny Jollis, Marty Abby Schneider, Dylan McCullum, Ryan Bowers, and Gabe Greenspan. Theme song written and performed by Zach Carlson, aka Famous Friend. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for his incredible music, Mage Hand Press for their genius D&D 5th edition homebrew, and Marty Abby Schneider for his amazing artwork. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the club. With odd physical deformities, like humped shoulders, single arms that are way larger than their other arms.